Hi and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good evening everyone. So today we are going to continue with this third part of the subtopic 1.2 mole concept. So the third part is about concentration of solution. So let's see what's inside a solution. So solution is made up of a solute that is dissolved in the solvent. So what is a solute? So solute is a substance present in the smaller amount, and solvent is the substance present in the larger amount it used to dissolve solute. So there are two types of solvent. The first one is non-polar solvent, which is such as benzene, and the second one is polar solvent, such as water. Alright, so this is how we prepare a solution. So we have a solute, and then we have a solvent. So solvent may be water, and then we have a solution. When the solute is completely dissolved in the solvent, then it will form a solution. Now let's get into the terms in the concentration of solution. So solution is the amount of solute present in a given quantity of solvent or a solution. So there are 5 concentration terms that we are going to look into today. The first one is molarity. The second one is molality. The third one is mole fraction X. The fourth one is percentage by mass, and the last one is percentage by volume. So now let's get into the molarity. So what is molarity? So molarity is the number of moles of solute per cubic decimeter or liter of a solution. Alright, so or we can express the definition using the formula molarity equals to the number of moles of solute in mole divided by the volume of solution in decimeter cube or liter. So here, the unit for molarity can be mole per decimeter cube, or mole per liter, or molar, or we can just put m here as the unit. So note here that 1 decimeter cube is equal to 1000 centimeter cube, and 1 liter is equal to 1000 ml, and 1 decimeter cube is equals to 1 liter. So let's go into the calculation exercise for molarity. So let's look at the example 1. So the question states that a student prepared a solution of sodium chloride by dissolving 1.46 gram of sodium chloride in 250 ml of volumetric flask. What is the molarity of the solution? So from the question, we have several information that is given to us. First one, they give us mass of sodium chloride. So here, the mass of sodium chloride from the solution, from the question is 1.461 gram. And the volume of solution given in the question is 250 ml. So we directly convert it into liter because we know that molarity, the unit for volume of solution must be in liter or decimeter cube. So we directly convert it into liter to be 0.25 liter. So now the question asks you, what is the molarity? So this is actually our goal for this question. We want to find the molarity, and we want to state that what is the solute, solvent, and the solvent plus solution, because it will ease our work later on. So we know that the solute in this question is sodium chloride and ECl, and the solvent here is water. And we know that the solvent plus solute will give the sodium chloride solution. So let's state what is the formula for molarity. The formula for molarity is the mole of sodium chloride divided by the volume of solution. Here, in the question, it already gave us the volume of solution here. So which means that this one settled. So what we need to do to find molarity, so we need to find the number of mole first, because we don't know what is the number of mole. So the question just gave us the mass of sodium chloride. So we can use that to find the number of mole of sodium chloride. So step 1 is we need to find the number of mole of sodium chloride first. So number of mole of sodium chloride is mass divided by molar mass. So 1.461 gram divided by the molar mass of sodium chloride, 58.5 gram per mole. So you will get 0.025 mole of sodium chloride. Next, after we get all the information needed to find the molarity, then step 2, we can find the molarity of sodium chloride solution. So molarity is equals to number of mole of sodium chloride divided by the volume of solution in liter or decimeter cube. So 0.025 mole divided by 0.25 liter to give us the molarity of the solution 0.1 molar. Or you can state 0.1 mole per liter. Alright, so that's it for example 1. So now let's get into example 2. So in example 2, the question asks you what mass of potassium iodide is required to make a 500 ml of 2.8 molar potassium iodide solution. So from the question, it asks mass of potassium iodide. So the question gave us information such as volume of solution. So volume of solution is 500 ml. So we need to convert it into liters since we know that molarity needs us to give the volume in liter. So we convert it to 0.5 liter and it gave us the molarity 2.8 molar. So we know that the solute in this question is potassium iodide and the solvent is water. So solvent plus solute will give us the potassium iodide solution. So now let's state the molarity formula. So molarity is equal to number of mole of potassium iodide divided by volume of solution in liter or decimeter cube. Alright, so we know that the volume of solution is 0.5 liter. So what we need to find is the number of mole. Since from the number of mole, we can find the mass of potassium iodide. So the first step here, we need to find the number of mole. So we find the number of mole of potassium iodide is equals to molarity times the volume of solution in liter. So you will get 2.8 times 0.5 liter, you will get 1.4 mole of potassium iodide. Next, step 2, we can then find the mass of potassium iodide from the mole of potassium iodide that we have found just now. So mass of potassium iodide is equals to number of mole times molar mass. So 1.4 mole times 166 gram per mole. So you will get the mass of potassium iodide is 232.4 gram. Okay, so it is crucial for you to know what is exactly you need to find step by step during tackling the question. Okay, so next we get into the exercise. Alright, so let's see what the question asks us. So the question asks, what is the molarity of an 85 ml ethanol solution containing 1.77 gram ethanol? Okay, so now let's extract the information given in the question. So from the question, we know that the mass of ethanol is 1.77 gram. So 1.77 gram of mass of ethanol. And the volume of solution here is 85 ml. So 85.0 ml. So we need to convert it into the liter. So it is 0.085 liter. So now the question asks us, what is the molarity for this solution? So we know that the molarity formula is number of mole of ethanol divided by the volume of solution. So here we already got this information in the question, given in the question. So what we need to do is we need to find what is the number of mole of ethanol first before we find the molarity. So step 1 is we find the number of mole of ethanol. So the number of mole of ethanol is equal to mass over molar mass. Okay, so the mass given is 1.77 gram, and the molar mass for ethanol is 46 gram per mole. Okay, alright, so so you can find the molar mass using this formula. Okay, and then you will get the mole of ethanol is equal to 0.0385 mole. Alright, so after you get the number of mole of ethanol, then we can find the molarity. So step 2, find molarity. Alright, so we know that molarity is equal to number of mole of ethanol divided by the volume of solution in liter. So the number of mole of ethanol that we got from the first step is 0.0385 mole divided by the volume of solution 0.085 liter. So you will get the molarity 0.453 mole per liter, or you can write it as 0.453 capital letter M, so molar. Okay, so this is your answer for question exercise 6. Alright, I hope that you understand the first term of the concentration molarity. Okay, now we are going to look into the second term, which is molality. So before that, there is a reminder for you guys that it is crucial for you to understand that in a solution, the volume of solution is not equal to the volume of solvent, and the mass of a solution is not equal to the mass of a solvent. This is because the mass of solution is actually the sum of mass of solute plus the mass of solvent, and the volume of solution is equal to the volume of solute plus volume of solvent, because solution is actually made up of dissolving the solute in the solvent. So please bear that in your mind. Okay, so now let's get into the second term of concentration, which is molality. So molality is the number of mole of solute dissolved in 1 kg solvent. Okay, so now, okay, so kalau tadi dia mole of solute dissolved in 1 liter solution. Okay, sekarang ni number of mole of solute dissolved in 1 kg solvent. So we can express the formula, okay, by this formula. So molality is equal to number of mole of solute divided by the mass of solvent in kilogram. So the unit for this concentration is mole per kg, or molal, or small letter M. Okay, alright, so let's go into the example for the calculation for molality. So the first example says that what is the molar concentration of a solution prepared by dissolving 0.3 mole of CuCl in 40 mole of water? Okay, so from the question, the information that we got is the number of mole of water, which is 40 mole, and the number of copper chloride, which is 0.3 mole. And then the question asks is, what is molality? So our goal here is to find the molality of the solution. So we know that the solute in this question is copper chloride, and the solvent in this question is water. Alright, so to find molality, we know that the formula for molality is equal to number of mole of copper chloride divided by the mass of solvent in kilogram. So here, we already have our mole of copper chloride here. Okay? So what we need to find now is the mass of solvent. So here, mass of solvent is actually mass of water. So which means that we need to find the mass of water. So the question gives us the mole of water. So we can actually use that to find the mass of water. So mass of water is equal to the number of mole times molar mass. So 40 mole of water times 18 gram per mole. So you will get 720 gram of water. But you need to remember that the molality need to use the mass of solvent in kilogram. So you need to convert the gram into kilogram. So the mass of water is actually 0.72 kilogram. Okay, now we have all the information needed to find the molality. So the second step we need to do is find the molality using this formula. So we know that molality is equal to the number of mole of copper chloride, so 0.3 mole, divided by 0.72 kg of water. So we will get the molality of the solution is 0.417 molar copper chloride solution. Alright. Next, we go into the second example. So, how many grams of glucose must be dissolved in 563 grams of ethanol to prepare 2.4 times 10 to the power of negative 2 molar solution? So, from the question, it gives you the mass of ethanol, which is 563 grams, which will then convert it into 0.563 kilogram. And then it gives us the molality of 2.4 times 10 to the power of negative 2 molar. And we know that in the question that the solute is glucose and the solvent here is ethanol. Okay, so we know that the formula to find molality is equal to the number of mole of glucose divided by the mass of solvent in kg. So, it gives us the molality, it gives us the mass of ethanol. So, the question needs you to find the mass of glucose. Okay, in order for you to find the mass of glucose, you need to find the number of mole of glucose first. Okay, so here, kita ada mass of solvent, ethanol here. And then we have the molality punya value. So we can find the number of mole. So step 1, the number of mole of glucose is actually equals to the number of mass of ethanol times with the molality. So you will get the number of mole of glucose is 0.0135 mole. And then, second step, we can use the number of mole of glucose that we find and that we have got in the step 1 to find the mass of glucose. So the mass of glucose is number of mole of glucose times molar mass. So 0.0135 mole times 180 gram per mole. So you will get the mass of glucose in this reaction 2.43 gram glucose. So this is how you find you got the answer for the example number 2. Okay? Alright. Now we go into the exercise question. So, it says that calculate the molality of a 5.86 molar ethanol solution whose density is 0.927 gram per ml. So here, from the question, it gave us molarity of the solution 5.86 molar. And the density of the solution is 0.927 gram per ml. So, what is the molality? So, question asks us what is the molality. So, we know that dalam soalan ni, the solute here is ethanol and the solvent here is water. Okay, so now, we know that the molality formula is number of mole of ethanol divided by the mass of solvent in kilogram. So the step here that we need to do, follow are number 1. Okay, we use the molarity to assume that the volume solution is 1 liter. So with this, you can obtain the number of mole of ethanol which is solute lah. Okay, so dalam soalan yang dia beri concentration and density, kita boleh guna concentration yang diberi untuk buat assumption. Kita guna method assumption. Okay, kenapa kita nak guna assumption method? Sebab kita nak dapat certain information yang kita perlukan untuk dapatkan the second concentration yang dia nak, iaitu kat sini molarity. So dia bagi kita molarity concentration untuk kita cari molality concentration. Okay, so here first step kita kena cari number of mole of ethanol. So step 1 kita assume. So kita assume yang volume of solution is equal to 1 liter. So we know that molarity is equal to the number of mole of ethanol divided by the volume of solution. Okay, so molarity here is 5.86 molar equal to the number of mole of ethanol divided by the volume solution 1 liter, sebab kita assume 1 liter. So we will get the mole of ethanol here is equal to 5.86 mole ethanol. Okay, now that we already get our value for the number of mole of ethanol, then yang ni settle lah. Okay, so settle yang pertama. So kita sekarang ni nak cari mass of solvent pula. Okay, kita tahu. Okay, we know that mass solution is equal to the mass solute plus mass solvent. So what we need to find now is actually the mass of solvent. Okay, so we need to find the mass of solute and mass solution to get mass solvent. So we already get our mole of solute here, mole of ethanol. So we can use it to find the mass of solute. So step 2. Alright, so step 2, we need to find mass ethanol. So because ethanol is a solute. So mass of ethanol is equal to mass ethanol, or we can use it mass solute, okay, is equal to number of mole of solute times with molar mass. So here, our ethanol or our solute, the number of mole is 5.86 mole. And the molar mass is 46 gram per mole. So you will get the mass of solute is 269.56 gram. So now that we already settled the second step, now we can find, so this is settled, so now we need to find the mass of solution. So the question gives us the density of solution. So you know that density is equal to mass over volume. Okay, so we can find the mass of solution because we already know the volume of solution here. Oops, sorry. Oops. Okay, let me do it again. So we know that density solution is equals to mass solution over volume solution. Okay, so volume is 1 liter. So we need to convert it into ml because the density is in ml. So we can find the mass solution. So this is step 3, okay? Step 3. Okay, we can find the mass solution is equal to the density 0.927 gram per ml times dengan volume solution 1000 ml. So, kita kena convert volume 1 liter jadi 1000 ml. So, you will get the mass solution is equal to 927 gram. Okay, now kita dah settle step 3. Kita nak cari mass solute kan? Mass solvent kan? Kita nak cari mass solvent. We want to obtain the mass solvent. So, kita boleh subtract the mass solution with mass solute to get the mass solvent. So, step 4. Okay, so we know that mass solvent is equal to mass solution minus mass solute. Okay, so mass solution here is 927 gram minus with mass solute 269.56 gram. So you will get the mass of solvent here is 657.44 gram. And we need to convert it into kilograms. So divided by 1000. Okay, so you will get 0.6574 kilogram. Okay, so we settle the step 4. Now we want to go into the last step, which is we need to, since we already get the mass of solvent here, so we already complete the maklumat yang kita nak untuk find molality. We already got our number of mole of ethanol and we already got our mass of water or mass of solvent in kilogram. So now we can proceed to find the molality. Okay, so let me duplicate this. So here, alright. So now in step 5, okay, you can find the molality. So molality is equal to mole of solute divided by the mass of solvent in kilogram. So we already get our mole of solute here, 5.86 mole, and our volume solution, our mass of solvent in kilogram is, is equal to 0.6574 kilogram. And you will get the molal is equals to 8.9 molal. Okay, so this is the answer for this question. So remember that bila korang nak jawab soalan macam ni, you need to know the step first. Apa yang korang nak cari sebenarnya? So in this case, kita bentangkan apa yang soalan ada. We need to extract the information from the question. We need to know which one is solute, which one is solvent, and we need to know the formula for the concentration that we need to find. So in this case, molality. So after kita dah tahu dia punya formula, kita tengok maklumat apa yang kita perlukan untuk cari this molality. So kita perlukan number of mole and mass of solvent. So kita cari number of mole dulu and then cari mass of solvent step by step. So if you follow the step, then you will get the answer really easy lah. Sebab korang ikut step kan? Okay, kalau korang tak ada apa orang kata step ataupun cara nak jawab, you will lost in the middle of the question. Korang macam, sekarang nak cari apa? Korang tiba-tiba tak tahu kan? Okay, so it is important for you to design your step first before you answer the question. Okay, now we want to go into dilution. So dilution is not a part of concentration term, but it is like macam procedure untuk kita prepare less concentrated solution from a more concentrated solution. So I know that you are very familiar with the M1V1 equals to M2V2. So it is the same. So MIVI equals to MFVF. So actually the I stands for the mole of solute before the dilution, and F stands for the number of mole of solute after the dilution. So initial and final lah actually. So initially it is a very concentrated solution. So after the dilution, dia akan jadi less concentrated solution. So note that here, it is not necessary to change the ml into liters. Kalau soalan tu bagi ml, you can just use the ml. Okay? But make sure that your unit untuk V initial dengan volume final must be the same. Okay, kalau guna ml je sepanjang soalan. Kalau guna liter saja sepanjang jawab soalan. Okay, so ni kita tengok contoh soalan calculation untuk dilution. So here dia kata, how would you prepare a 60 ml of 0.2 molar nitric acid from a stock solution of 4 molar of nitric acid? So here we know that from the question, the molarity initial here, stock solution here is 4 molar. Okay, kita tak tahu volume initial dia berapa sebab dia kata how would you prepare. Maksudnya berapa yang kita perlukan, berapa stock solution yang kita perlukan to get 60 ml of 0.2 molar nitric acid. So molarity final adalah 0.2 molar and the final volume must be 60 ml. So kat sini Miss convert into 0.06 liter. Okay, so kita tahu formula dia adalah MIVI equals to MFVF. So, ataupun M1V1 equals to M2V2. Sama je dua-dua pun. So, dekat sini, kita masukkan, substitute the information that we have from the question, that we have extracted from the question into this formula. So, you will get the volume initial that we need to get this final concentration is 3 ml, okay? Okay, so which means that 3 ml of nitric acid will dissolve in 57 ml of water to form 60 ml of solution. So this is how you answer this kind of question. Okay, now we need to continue with the third concentration term, which is mole fraction. Okay, mole fraction. So what is mole fraction? So mole fraction is the ratio of the number of moles of one component to the total number of mole of all components present in the compound. Okay, so for example here we have mole fraction X. So mole fraction dia punya symbol dia X, okay? So equals to the number of mole of solute divided by the number of mole of solute plus the number of mole of solvent, sorry. Okay, so note here, okay, untuk mole fraction X, kita tak ada unit. We have no unit. Okay, and then the mole percentage is equal to mole fraction times dengan 100% saja. And then total mole fraction is equals to 1. Maksudnya mole fraction untuk elemen A plus dengan mole fraction untuk B plus C sama dengan 1. Okay. So, next, kita tengok the fourth concentration term, which is percentage by mass. So, we sometimes just letak symbol percentage by mass ni menggunakan this. Percentage W per W. Maksudnya percentage by mass. Okay. So, the percentage of the mass of solute per mass of solution. Maksudnya, percentage mass solute bahagi dengan mass of solution kali dengan 100%. So, mass of solute divide mass of solution. So, maksudnya kalau kita dapat soalan ni, kita kena cari mass of solute dan mass of solution times dengan 100% to get the percentage by mass. And I just want to remind you that the mass of solution is actually mass of solute plus mass of solvent. Okay, now we get into how to calculate the question that involve the percentage by mass. Okay, we have example number 1 here. Calculate the amount of water in gram. So the question states specifically that it wants the answer to be in gram. That must be added to 5 gram of urea in the preparation of a 16.2% by mass solution. So from the question, we know that the mass of urea is 5 gram and the percentage by mass is 16.2%. So the question asks you to calculate the mass of water. So we know that the solute here is urea and the solvent here is water. Okay, so solvent plus solute equals to solution lah. So, you know that the formula for the percentage by mass is mass of solute divided by the mass of solution times 100%. Okay, so kita ada percentage by mass. And we also have the mass of solute. So, we need to find the mass of solution. Okay, untuk cari mass of solution, okay, kita gunakan this formula. So, kita akan dapat mass of solution sama dengan 30.86 gram. Tapi soalan tak habis lagi. Soalan minta mass of water. So, kita tahu mass of water is actually solvent. Okay, so kita akan cari mass of solvent. Okay, so kita tahu mass of solution is equal to the mass of solute plus mass of solvent. So we know already the mass of solute is 5 gram and we know that the mass of solution is 30.86 gram. So now we can get the mass of solvent by subtract the mass of solute with mass of solution. So 30.86 gram minus 5 gram. So you will get the mass of solvent is equals to 25.86 gram mass of water. Okay, so this is how you answer this kind of question. Okay, next kita pergi to the final concentration terms in your syllabus, which is percentage by volume, or we can write it in percentage V over V ni. Okay, so the percentage by volume is the percentage of volume of solute in millimeter per volume of solution in millimeter. So which means that kita tahu percentage by volume is equal to volume of solute divided by volume of solution times 100%. And this one is often used for liquid and gases. Okay, sebab diorang ada volume, memang diorang biasa kita akan guna percentage by volume ni untuk these two lah, liquid dengan gas. Okay, now finally kita nak tengok calculation exercise. So dalam soalan-soalan past year or dalam soalan exam, tak ada sangat lah. Ada lah soalan yang ringkas, tapi mostly soalan dia akan jadi macam kompleks. Okay, for example here kita ada soalan ni. Okay, soalan ni kata a sample of a commercial concentrated hydrochloric acid is 11.8 molar and has a density of 1.1 gram per ml. Calculate the mass percentage, molality and the mole fraction of HCl. So, bila korang nampak soalan macam ni, korang mesti akan fikir, ya Allah, banyaknya kena cari. Mana satu aku nak start ni? Okay, so apa yang korang kena start dulu? Korang list out all the formula untuk soalan tu. So, means untuk soalan A, dia minta mass percentage, which is percentage by mass kan? So, list down the formula. So, the formula for percentage by mass is mass of solute divided by the mass of solution times 100%. And the formula for molality is equal to the number of mole of solute divided by the mass of solvent in kg. And last kali, mole fraction. Mole fraction is equal to number of mole of solute divided by the number of mole of solute plus number of mole of solvent. So, bila kita dah list down all the formula, now kita boleh detect actually maklumat apa yang kita perlukan untuk dapatkan all the answer for the question. Okay. So, dekat sini kita listkan maklumat yang ada dalam soalan. So, we extract the information that is given to us. So, we know that from the question here, the molarity is 11.8 molar. The density solution is 1.19 gram per ml. And now what we need to find is the mass percentage, mole fraction and molality. And kita tahu solute dekat sini is hydrochloric acid. Solvent here is water and solvent plus solute is a solution. Okay, now step 1. Step 1, apa-apa pun first thing first, kita kena cari semua benda yang kita perlukan untuk dapatkan, untuk jawab soalan ni. So, first step, kita cari dulu number of mole. Kenapa? Number of mole is needed in every formula that we need to find kat sini. So sebab apa? Number of mole of solid kat sini, number of mole of solid kat sini, and mass of solid can be found by using this number of mole kan. So step 1, cari dulu number of mole of solute, which means number of mole of HCl lah. Okay. So dekat sini kita tahu dia dah bagi kita molarity kat sini, betul tak? So bila dah bagi molarity, kita boleh guna assumption method. Okay, so bila soalan, saya ulang sekali lagi, bila soalan give you the concentration dan juga density, okay, kita boleh guna assumption method. Okay, so kita boleh assume that the volume solution is 1 liter. So bila kita assume, then we can find the number of mole of solute here menggunakan formula molarity kat sini. So molarity kita is 11.8 molar dan equals to number of mole of solute divided by 1 liter. So you will get that the number of mole of solute or the number of mole of hydrochloric acid is equal to 11.8 mole. Okay. Now setelah kita dah dapat number of mole of solute. Okay. Kita dapat dah number of mole of solute. So now kita nak cari mass of solute. Okay. Sebab kita perlukan mass of solute ni untuk cari percentage by mass. So mass of solute, kita boleh gunakan number of mole yang kita dah dapat dekat the first step that we have got from the first step. So mass of solute is equal to the number of mole times dengan molar mass. So you will get 11.8 mole times 36.5 gram per mole. You will get the mass of solute is equal to 430.7 gram. So settle juga dah dapat mass of solute. Okay, now soalan yang mass percentage by mass ni, dia perlukan mass of solution here. Okay, so kita nak cari mass of solution, dia bagi kita dekat soalan ni, dia bagi kita density. So ingat, density solution is equal to mass solution divided by the volume solution. Kita dah ada density, kita dah ada volume yang kita convert jadi ml. So kita boleh cari mass solution. Okay, so mass solution kita dapat 1190 gram. So now mass solution pun dah settle. Okay, so step keempat, kita nak cari mass solvent kat sini. Okay, so mass solvent, kita tahu mass solution plus mass solution is equal to mass solvent plus mass solute. So mass solution kita dah tahu, mass solute kita dah tahu, so kita boleh cari mass solvent. So mass solvent is equal to mass solution minus mass solute. So 1190 gram minus 430.7 gram, so you will get 759.3 gram. But untuk molality, the mass of solvent must be in kilogram. So convert jadi kilogram, so you will get 0.7593 kilogram. So setelah mass of solvent dah dapat. Okay, last kali number of mole of solute dah settle, kita nak cari number of mole of solvent. So kita dah dapat mass solvent kat step yang keempat. So kita boleh gunakan ni untuk cari mole of solvent. So number of mole of solvent equals to mass divided by molar mass. So mass tadi kita ambil yang gram, okay, sebab molar mass dalam gram per mole. So 759.3 gram divided by 18 gram per mole, sebab solvent kita water kan. So you will get 42.18 mole. So dah dapat number of mole of solvent. So kita check, adakah semua maklumat yang kita perlukan untuk cari, untuk dapat jawapan soalan-soalan kita ni dah ada? So percentage by mass settle, molality pun settle, semuanya dah ada, and then mole fraction pun settle. So now barulah kita boleh cari dapatkan jawapan untuk A, B, C, D, A, B dan C kita. So kita cari yang A. So mass percentage, mass of solute divided by mass of solution times 100%, you will get 36.19%. Okay, untuk molality, kita dah ada semua maklumat. So number of mole of solute 11.8 mole divided by 0.7593 kilogram dapat 15.54 molal. And last one, mole fraction of HCl, number of mole of solute 11.8 mole divided by number of mole of solute plus number of mole of solvent, so you will get 0.22. So remember, mole fraction tiada unit. No unit for mole fraction. So now you dah dapat all the answer for the question. So ikut step by step, okay, untuk senangkan hidup korang. Okay, so helpful tips here. So macam yang saya cakap tadi, for questions that give concentration and density, assumption can be made based on concentration yang dia bagi. So example, kalau dia bagi kita concentration molarity, kita boleh assume volume dia 1 liter. Kalau dia bagi kita maklumat molality concentration, kita boleh assume solvent kita 1 kg. Kalau dia bagi kita maklumat percentage by mass, kita boleh assume mass solution to 100 gram. And kalau dia bagi kita concentration percentage by volume, kita boleh assume volume solution to 100 ml. So this is the helpful tips that saya nak bagi kat korang lah supaya senang dan mudah kerja korang. So that is all for the part C, concentration of solution, for subtopic 1.2 mole concept. So that is the end of 1.2. So next video we will cover 1.3 stoichiometry. So stay tuned. So thank you guys for watching this video. Bye. Assalamualaikum.